Parking Authority to order. Please be advised that the notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been complied with and satisfied, and that the annual notice, which gave sufficient notice of the time, place, and conduct of all public meetings of the Brunswick Parking Authority, has been filed with the City Clerk, has been placed on an appropriate bulletin board in the lobby of City Hall, New Brunswick, New Jersey, and has been transmitted to the official newspaper for the City of New Brunswick, namely the Home News and Tribune, as per the annual notice provided in a resolution adopted by this governing body on December 29, 1975. We have minutes from the October board meeting. Are we able to?
You cannot.
I can't
Okay.
have that because I was
All
not.
right, then we'll defer that to the January meeting.
Yep.
Then we'll go right to your report, Mitch.
All right, thank you. A few things. So, as I mentioned in our previous meeting in October, we're working on updating the employee handbook. It's currently under attorney review, and we hope to have that for board approval at the January board meeting. We began union contract negotiations. The current contract ends the end of this month. Just a reminder, the union represents the maintenance and custodial employees. I put an ad in for a qualified purchasing agent. I placed the ad in the New Jersey League of Municipalities website, and I've received a handful of resumes so far. I'm looking to hire during the first quarter of 2020. We implemented the meter grace period, December 1st through December 31st, that we do each year. We give a 20-minute grace period to the on-street meters in the downtown area for the holiday shoppers. Just a couple of figures here. Just at the IPS meters, the revenue in November, 78% of the revenue was made up by credit card payment. Year to date through the end of November, it's 72% was credit card. And in garages, in November, revenue was made up of 87% credit cards. Year to date, it's 85%. And real quick, garage closures in November. New Street was closed 9 times, Patterson and Plum 5 each, Morris 4, Gateway 3, Church 2. And so far in December through yesterday, we have Church Street was closed 3 times, New Street 3 times, Plum Street 3 times, Morris 2 times, and Patterson 1 time. And that's what I got.
And Mitch, on a closure, is that just like, say, an hour you would track it, that you had to?
It's not really an hour. It could be, a closure could be for 10 minutes.
Oh, okay, I got you. So
You
you
know,
just indicate.
so what we do is monitor it. As soon as spaces open up, we'll let someone in. You know, we have people at the entrance and exit, so
Sure,
as
yeah,
one car
that's-
leaves, we'll let one car in.
Gotcha.
But we also tell people where else they can park once it's full, so they don't just sit there waiting.
Sure, sure.
I'm good, I'm done.
Right? Anything?
The November board report was sent to the board, emailed to the board last Monday. We have favorable variance on both revenue and also expense. The revenue are over budget and the expenses are under budget as of year to date. We will be closing December somewhere in January, and auditors will be here somewhere in February.
Okay, good, thank you. Any legal issues? Any public comment this evening?
Yes, please. Good evening, members of the board. Charles Cradaville, New Brunswick Today. Just had a few questions. Wanted to confirm the total amount of debt is $385 million.
Still the same. What else?
Okay. And when might that change?
Next year.
February?
No, the debt changes in September, August.
August, okay. Any update on the supermarket space?
Still working with potential tenants, you know, at this point in time. Nothing is set in stone yet.
Right, but not a supermarket, it'd be like an office type use.
Yeah, probably, it's a good chance it's not a supermarket.
Yeah, and the tenant, would they be taking up the whole space or part of the space?
Well, we're looking to rent the entire space.
Okay. Is there any estimate on what are the total losses of that project? You know, the authority was anticipating some $70,000 a month coming in from rental revenue on that space. Is there an estimate? I know.
Why don't you put the estimate together and
Yeah, I'll send
do
it.
it via email?
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have it at my fingertips right now.
Okay, well, we'll follow up then. And then I did want to ask about that project though. because I've been coming to these meetings since about 2010, but I didn't go to every one. I wanted to know, was there originally a plan that would involve wellness having housing? Was that the original plan?
No, no, I don't recall that at all.
No, it was always supposed to be
Yeah.
parking, Robert Wood, and super.
Yeah, we wanted to get a grocery store.
Okay. And then finally, the new deck, I haven't had the pleasure of parking in it yet. I don't know, it seemed to say that you have to like remember your license plate number or
Yes.
put that in, so it's the only deck like that where you prepay.
Correct.
Okay, and why, what was the logic
Well,
behind
the
making
logic,
that?
the main reason is that we didn't want to, well, there was two reasons. Number one, the ramp is steep. So it wasn't the best plan to have people stop and pull a ticket because cars tend to roll backwards, so we're a little concerned about that. So in order to avoid that, we set up this prepayment using the multi-space.
So really, it's like an architectural,
Yeah, there was a reason
consideration.
for it. And also, the main reason was that we know that there's a load-in for these shows, that we didn't want to back up into Bayard Street. And once you have to pull a ticket, if there's a problem,
That
when the
creates a
ticket gets
queue.
jammed, everything gets backed up into Bayard Street, it's a mess. Kind of learned our lesson from Church Street. If you know Church Street backs up, Church Street
Okay.
deck, at times, there's a holdup. So this, we want to do away with that, so that was the other reason we did that.
Okay, so how does it work? You choose
No.
the amount of time in advance. Can you do Park Mobile?
Well, you do park mobile,
Okay.
you choose the amount of time in advance, you know your license plate, you plug your license plate in. That's what you use, it's not a space number, it's your license plate, your license
Gotcha.
plate, it's your space. And then after 6 o'clock, it's a flat fee of $15, and that's good till midnight.
I'm curious how much, work it takes to enforce with that kind of an arrangement.
Well, it's
right?
LPR, so all that information goes to the LPR cameras, the
So
wait list.
it's instantly in the
Yeah.
cars, they can just drive around it.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. And just maybe a constructive suggestion to close out, some of the names of the decks could be, revisited. I know,
The names of the garages?
yeah, absolutely. So like, you call the one in Rockoff Hall the Morris Street deck, but I think, most of the people in the neighborhood might recognize it as the Rockoff Hall deck. I know there's some confusion sometimes with Patterson Street deck, right? Because the lower Church Street deck also has an entrance on Patterson, so you've got two decks that could be called the Patterson deck. Only one of them is accurate to call the Patterson deck, and the other is Lower Church Street. I think that the Gateway deck, as much as the people who built that building like calling it the Gateway building, a lot of the people around town don't necessarily use that that name. So just in terms of making it easy to find the deck you want, and if you call that the train station deck, or the Easton Ave deck, it might be better for business.
Great.
So that's just a thought, and wanted to thank Mitch and everybody who's gotten back to me when I have questions this year, and wish everybody a very happy holiday.
Thank you. Thank you for your
Same
comment.
to you, thanks.
Is there any other board discussion? If
No.
not, we can go to resolutions. We have a payment resolution for December. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion.
And a second?
Second?
All in favor? Aye. We have a resolution now adopting the 2020 authority budget.
Correct.
Okay. So that means the budget has been
Approved by the state.
approved by the state, comes back to
Adopted by
us.
us,
We are now
and it's
adopting it
adopted
for
by the
2020.
state.
Perfect. Can I get a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
And finally, Mitch, this is your,
Oh, this resolution renews the New Brunswick Parking Authority to remain the lead agency for the New Jersey Parking Cooperative Pricing System that went into effect in December 17, 2014. We adopted a resolution on December 17, 2014, allowing the MBPA to be the lead agency. And this is just to renew that. The current registration expires January 21st, 2020, and one of the requirements, basically the only requirement, well, one of the requirements is to approve a resolution allowing us to remain as the lead agency for the co-op.
okay.
All right,
Great.
that's it, so I'm looking for approval.
Questions? If none, can I get a motion?
Make a motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Mitch,
I have
any other
nothing else.
business to conduct tonight?
I have nothing, no old business, new business, or closed session.
Okay, I hope everybody has a very happy holiday. Thank you.
All right,
too.
thank
Get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Happy holidays.